Hey guys, this is a video here that's very important to you. It's going to be a little bit misleading because I'm going to say things you need to know before you start taking lessons or learn your first chord, but there are very important things that's not going to get into music theory or anything like that, but it is going to tell you what you need to know before you get started with learning that first chord. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we're back. Now, learning the guitar is going to be impossible if you don't have your guitar in tune. So the first thing to do is to learn how to tune your guitar and to tune it with the tuner. In order to learn how to tune it, you need to know what the names and letters of the strings are. Very important. Like I said, even if you're just going to be picking by the campfire or whatever, if your guitar ain't in tune, it's not going to sound real well. So what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of close-up here, go over each string with you, and sort of give you an explanation. Okay guys, this right here is your nut. I showed you that in a previous tutorial, but doing it again. And the reason I do that is because there's where your starting point is. Your starting point is always at the nut. If you go as to a chord or a note or whatever, everything is measured from that point there. Your strings are numbered from the bottom up, which don't make any sense, but that's just the way it is. Your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 number string. So when you get the strings in a pack, a lot of times they have the numbers on them. So that's the number they have. The other number they'll have on them is a gauge size. It'll tell you what size string that is. And like I told you, for a beginner, you want that gauge to be as light as you can so that it don't require a lot of roughage on the fingers. As your fingers toughen up, you can go up in the size of strings and whatever, but you want the lightest gauge you can to start with. Now, in the note sequence, starts off with the E at the top. So it's E, A, D, G, B, and E. Everybody kind of puts their own little symbology to it. What seems to be known the best is E for Eddie, A for 8, D for dynamite, G for goodbye, and B, bye, and then Eddie. So it should be E, A, D, G, B, E. So it's Eddie, 8, dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. So that's your strings, and that's what needs to be learned. And like I said, get you a cheap tuner to put on the headstock, or one to put in line if you've got a electric guitar, or just use your phone. They've got apps now for a phone that you can use to tune your guitar. Very important that you learn those string names. If you don't learn the notes all the way down the neck, that's fine, but at least learn those 6 string names so that you can tune your guitar and get that done in pretty rapid fashion. Those things you should learn almost immediately. So again, Eddie, E, 8, A, dynamite, D, good, G, bye, B, Eddie, E. So that's going from top to bottom. And that's the way generally you tune your guitars, from top to bottom. But like I said, they're numbered going the other way. And like I said, the number for the gauge of string starts with a lower gauge at the bottom and goes to thicker gauge at the top. So that number increases as you go up as well. So if you're using that kind of system, the bigger the number, the closer to the top you get. All right, we're going into the next thing. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to read the schematics for notes chords, when you see the chords written on a page, typically they've got a darker line. That darker line usually denotes where the nut is. The other lighter lines you see will be your fret lines. It's important that you follow through that. There's also a numbering system for the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you see those in a diagram, those diagrams will tell you which fingers to put where. So it's pretty handy. Now, feel free to kind of experiment with that, because every now and then you can do something just a little bit different, and which feels more comfortable to you. But for the most part, it's a tried and true method, so you better just stay with it. In the first schematic I'm going to throw up here, first diagram, is a G major chord. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go into teaching you chords today. I'm not going to go into anything like that, but I am going to show you this. The reason I want to show you this is because I want you to sort of be self-educated. I've got one with a G major, which is showing you like this. And then I've got the other one. If you'll notice, there's a 3 beside it. What that 3 means, it starts on that 3rd fret. Now, whether or not it's like this or like something else, that's the same G, even though it's a little different fingering for it. So, like I said, as you look at both those diagrams, that right there is the diagram showing you the G major in a bar chord form. I would suggest right now, stay away from the bar chord form. Go back to the open. Stay with that. Like I said, you can see where I've got my 1, my 2, and then my 3rd finger is down here. It's just like the diagram says. So try that out and see how that goes. And so that's kind of showing you the diagrams and what you need to know there. All right, on to the next thing. The next thing I'm going to teach you is just going to be kind of simple. I'm not going to elaborate on it a whole lot, mainly because you don't want to be overwhelmed or beaten down with this. But there are only 12 notes. You would think probably more, but there's only 12 notes in the world. Then they start repeating themselves, and then when they repeat themselves, it's called an octave up. So each string plays a full octave up to the 12th fret. You'll see the double dots. That means that's the 12th fret. So if you've got an E at the start, you got an E up here. The only difference is it's an interval or an octave higher. And so all you need to do is learn there's A through G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's only 7 notes, but actually there's sharps and flats in between some of those. So that's what gives you your 12 note span. So like I said, you don't need to get into that, but you do need to know that there's only letters up to G. And also when you go to learning the chords and that kind of thing, try to learn all the chords that are in groups in the key of. So like the G, if you're learning the key of G, just learn the chords that are in that key. And then as you go to adding open chords to your collection, add something. You can add something off of that, and you only got to learn 1 or 2 chords, and you're learning another key. So keep that in mind. The very next video I'm going to have is going to be on the key of G. So I'm going to go into the key of G, show you the major chords in the key of G. Like I said, that's going to be something that we're going to talk about later. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is going to be tablature. Tablature is going to be good for you as a beginner. Don't get caught up on it because everybody wants to play lead. The bad thing about it is if you don't understand rhythm, you can't play rhythm, then you really can't do lead justice either. So play with that a little bit to do your finger exercises, that kind of thing, but kind of leave the lead notes and that kind of thing for later learning. Like I said, have that supplement your regular learning with the open chords. As you do tabs, when you look at tabs, they'll have the 6 strings of the guitar. Now the thing with the 6 strings of the guitar, it's like it's upside down, because when you're looking at it, this top string's on the very bottom, the bottom string's on the very top. But as you look at it, it'll tell you exactly where to put your finger. Like if it says top string, 3rd fret, you're right there. If it says, if it's on the bottom and it's got the bottom 3rd fret, you're going to know it's there. So I'm going to show you a little bit of schematic of a tablature here in a minute, and that way you can go by it and see what all needs to be done. But like I said, tablature is something that's just an exercise. Don't get so caught up in that and playing leads. I'm going to leave a link down below that's going to give you a website where you can go anytime and choose a key of whatever, and it'll show you all the chords you need to know. But I'm going to be back giving other videos as well. But this right here is if you want to stay one jump ahead of it and learn new. Everybody progresses at a different rate, so as you progress and you may want to push forward with the next open chord, do that, push yourself, but get into those chords and feel comfortable changing, from one to another. And if you can change from those rather rapidly, then, like I said, then you pick out some others. But now, man wasn't designed fingers to work independently, so it's going to require some what they call muscle mass memory, and you're going to have to teach your fingers how to do what you need them to do. But the more you practice, the more you get it down, the better you're going to sound, and the better it's all going to be. So with that in mind, good luck to all of you, and let's keep moving forward on this. And like I said, hopefully we can hear you playing pretty soon. And like I said, just keep practicing, keep pushing forward. Thank you.